Vice Chairman.
A second.
Any other discussion? Any other nominations? Okay. All those in favor for Commissioner Bray serving as Vice Chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion. Was that a serious nay?
No.
Okay. All right, Mr. Vice Chairman, he's got a sense of humor. All right. Agenda item number 2, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. I understand we have our new commissioner on the phone. Can you hear us?
Yes,
Welcome.
thank you.
Okay. Looks like everyone else is present. Agenda item 4, approve the minutes, approve the draft minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission held on January 20th. Okay.
February 17th.
February
Sorry,
17th.
Chairman.
Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes from the February
February 17th.
meeting.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Citizen
Sorry,
comments.
who seconded that vote? Thank you.
Commissioner Kish, I believe. Short? Okay. So Vice Chairman Bray, the motion, and then Short, the second. All right. Citizen comments, appearances from the floor. Now is the time for citizens who would like to address Planning and Zoning Commission on a non-agenda item. Are there any speaker cards? Does anyone from the audience like to speak? Okay. Disclosure of ex parte communications. Opportunity for commission members to disclose any ex parte communications they may have had prior to this meeting on any agenda item. Any? Nope. Okay. Old business. I'm going to open the public hearing for special use to allow the installation of a Verizon wireless communication facility monopalm at 17605 West McDowell. Ms. Listinsky will be presenting the case.
Thank you, Chairman, Commission members.
I've been working on your name, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You said it so perfectly. Reliance Land Services Management is the developer here. On behalf of Verizon Wireless, they're requesting a special use permit to allow a 65-foot monopalm on a parcel owned by ADOT just north of Interstate 10 and east of Citrus Road. The parcel is currently zoned C2 General Commercial. ADOT currently uses this site as a construction yard for their I-10 and Loop 303 construction projects. The facility is going to take up 802 square feet of the 60-plus acre parcel. When ADOT no longer uses this site, the monopalm antenna will remain intact, and the size and placement of the facility should not impact any future commercial uses. There is a diesel-driven, backup generator in the event of a loss of power. The generator will run once a week for testing purposes, and the facility will include an air conditioner to cool the equipment inside the shelter. Maintenance will be performed once a month, and access to the facility will be available off of McDowell Road. You can see that access gate to the north, and then it pulls down through to the site. The facility and equipment will be concealed by an 8-foot screen wall. The monopalm facility does utilize the palm tree design to blend in with the desert landscape. All criteria have been met and public notification requirements have been satisfied. Staff recommends approval subject to the stipulations provided in the staff report. The applicant is not available or not here, but I can answer any questions if you'd like.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions?
I do have one question. What is the zoning for the opposite side of Citrus? Just
To the west?
west.
That's also C2.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, you said the applicant's not here. Okay, anyone else in the audience like to speak on this item? No. All right, with that, we'll close the public hearing and take a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve case number 15-350-00002 with staff recommendations.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Vice Chair Bray and Commissioner Short. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion-
Tired of the palm tree. I'm going to go on record as saying we got to have something besides that big, ridiculously tall palm tree.
Okay. Sounds like 6-1. Thank you. New business. I'm going to open public hearing for the rezoning of the Saraville East. Looks like we're continuing this item. Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to continue.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue rezoning case number 16-200-0001 to the April 20th, 2016 Planning and Zoning meeting.
Second.
Moved by Vice Chair Brain, seconded by Commissioner Kish. Commissioner Barnes, are you sick of continuances, or is this okay?
I'm okay with this one.
Okay. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing on the use permit for Estrella Falls Freeway Pylons. Mr. Correcchia will be the presenter.
Mr. Chairman, if it was okay with you, the next two items do concern the same project here, Estrella Falls, the use permit and the amendment to the comprehensive sign package. If I could provide one presentation to the commission and then you take separate action.
Works for me.
Okay, thank you. Commission members, this is the Estrella Falls. This is the outline in red, about 330 acres for this commercial development here. The commercial zoning was approved in 2000. In 2006, we had approval of a comprehensive sign package for Estrella Falls. That set design standards for the market here. This is Cal Ranch, TJ Maxx, Old Navy. Also provided design guidelines for freeway pylons here on this parcel adjacent to Interstate 10. In 2006, a use permit was also approved for the freeway pylons, and that freeway pylon use permit had two freeway pylons, one here at this corner and another here. In 2008, we had site plan approval for both of those, and to date, that freeway pylon here at this corner has been constructed. One of the items tonight before you is the use permit. It is an amendment for a third pylon sign. Back in 2006, when that use permit was approved, one of the stipulations was the applicant could obtain a third freeway pylon sign, but first they had to obtain the commitment of 5 top-tier businesses within the mall here. At the current time, the applicant has decided that they would like to move forward with requests for that third pylon sign for the reasons that they've outlined in their project narrative. Basically, they feel that that third pylon sign would help them with their negotiations for tenants for the mall site here. So that use permit request is for that third pylon sign with that location right here in the middle. The other application before you tonight is the comprehensive sign package amendment for the overall Estrella Falls development. And what I will do is I'll go through the comprehensive sign package amendment and kind of go through some of the changes, what they're also requesting with the use permit. Mr. Chairman, I'll kind of go through the pages of that. If you have any questions, stop me, but I'll go through some of the pages here. And what the comprehensive sign package did initially was subdivided Estrella Falls into 4 areas. Sub-area 1 is the mall and Harkins Theater. 2 is the market at Estrella Falls. 3 is future commercial area and the freeway pylons here. And 4 up here is another future commercial area. One of the changes with the CSP amendment is the applicant is going to further subdivide Area 1. 1A will be the mall and theater. 1B will be the perimeter lots. And C and D will be future commercial pads to the west of 150th here. And with that use permit request for the third pylon, this is the rendering of that sign. It will use the same material, same design of the existing approved signs. Major change is the request for this electronic reader panel right here. A smaller change is they will be using the circular starburst versus the star tails that are on the current sign. Height is 85 feet tall, which again meets what was approved with the original use permit. And this shows you the design of the existing sign, and again with the tails here. Just for clarification, this was initially something the applicant thought they wanted to do, but they would not have an electronic reader board on any of the signs. The other two signs, it would be just the one sign that they're requesting tonight. And again, this exhibit here just shows the location. A1 is existing. A3 is approved but not built. And A2 here is the one that's being requested tonight. And these are just exhibits showing what at build out with all three, some of the views of the signage. Okay, another change proposed with the comprehensive sign plan amendment is the applicant would like to set up signage for the mall site itself. And here we have, what this exhibit is showing is some of the freestanding monument signage. So we have 6 20-foot tall monuments proposed around the mall site. We also have some identification monuments proposed at the corners and main entrances to the mall. And this is a rendering of that proposed sign for the mall. 20 feet tall. Take some of the design from the existing monuments that are over at the market at Estrella Falls. This sign here is a marketing leasing sign. 2 of these will be proposed. Phase 1, what the applicant is considering is probably something to announce that this is just the mall site itself, and probably something for Harkins with their opening date. As tenants come online, they can provide panels for them as well. And this here is just an addition of the smaller leasing sign that the applicant can place around the perimeter of the site. Sign package establishes signage for Harkins. You can see the wall signage here, movie posters here. So now we have the criteria now for the Harkins in the sign package. This is sub-area 1B. These are the perimeter lots around the mall site. And you can see here, they have 8 10-foot tall monuments proposed for the lots. And this is the signage proposed, 10 feet tall, again, keeping a consistent design theme throughout. Now, this is the existing market at Estrella Falls. What the sign package is proposing here is the addition of 3 20-foot tall freestanding monument signs. We have 7 existing. The new ones would be here on Pebble Creek, another one here to the south, then another one here on McDowell over to the east. So for a total of 10 freestanding monument signs. This is the design of the sign. It's that they'll just carry over the existing design that they currently have out there now. And the other thing the sign package does is more of a housekeeping item. In the appendix, they put all of their standard general requirements and procedures all in one spot. So everything in Estrella Falls, we will go here for those criteria. For the use permit, we did have public notice requirements, so we did post signage on the property. We did send out notices to surrounding property owners. To date, staff has not received any opposition to the use permit request for that third Fruway pylon sign. We did review both applications, the use permit request and the comprehensive sign package. In looking at the use permit request, we do not think that request for the third pylon or the electronic reader display would be detrimental to surrounding property owners. Again, we've kind of outlined the reasons in the staff report, but given that it's a commercial high-intensity area, we're not going to have any sort of light trespass into residential areas. We feel that that third pylon is appropriate at this time, and we recommend the use permit amendment. Regarding the amendment to the comprehensive sign package, again, for the reasons outlined in the staff report, but summarized, given the size of Estrella Falls and its regional significance, we feel that the requested signage is appropriate for a development of this type. With that, Mr. Chairman, we are recommending approval of both applications, the use permit and the CSP amendment, subject to the stipulations in the staff report. With that, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions. The applicant's team is also available for questions.
Good. Thank you. Are there any questions? Yes, Commissioner Maloney.
Could you review again what for the electronic messaging board, what kind of messages? I know that there was one that they said would only last 8 seconds. It was for emergencies for the city of Goodyear. But what other kinds of things would they be floating through this?
Mr. Chairman, Commission members, I can answer maybe part of that. What we've set up are the standards. Basically, we're following the state regulations on electronic message displays in terms of, you notice the stipulations with the terms of shutting off at 11 till sunrise, the 8-second message having to be up there. That's what we are regulating in terms of what they can have on there. The thing we're saying that in terms of content that they cannot have on there is off-premise signage. So it has to be related to Estrella Falls, the mall, the tenants, events going on at the site. So otherwise, I would expect it to be those kinds of things that they would advertise on that display. We will set the standards. If I could defer to the applicant in terms of if you were looking for information on what they would put on the sign, that would probably be best, a good question for them.
Well, for example, would they have a big sign that says 50% off at Dillard's, or would they be saying that the community is sponsoring an event inside the area? You know, there's...
Mr. Chairman, Commission members, I think in terms of the cities, what we would regulate, the only thing content-wise we would regulate would be the off-site signage. Again, going back to, I know you're all familiar with the Reed case and what we can regulate. We would not regulate necessarily the content other than, again, off-premise signage. So you can't advertise something, in Scottsdale. But anything for Estrella Falls, events, sales, community events, citywide events, new tenants, I imagine we would be seeing a lot of that.
Any other questions for staff?
Question regarding the reason for changing the decoration on the side of the sign. In regards to uniformity, I'm a little concerned that we have all of these curved lines and then stars falling in several places, and then we have this other sign that has these star bursts. I'm just wondering why they didn't decide to keep it uniform. I think that seems kind of silly.
Mr. Chairman, Commission members, from what I know from talking with the applicant, there is a lot of branding involved. That could be a good question I'm sure they could explain that in much better detail.
Will they be talking at the the meeting at the next meeting after this, or the reasoning of why they're doing that, or are they going to speak here? Okay.
Are there any other questions for Steve?
No, I'm good here.
Any other questions for Steve? No? All right. Applicant.
Thank you, Steve.
Hello, my name is Rob Bassett. I work with Macerich. And to answer your question regarding the difference on the side of the signs, the thinking was that we have 3 signs up there. We've got 330 acres. Generally, the one sign that exists today is for the Market at Estrella Falls Power Center that is open today. And it has kind of the sub-branding of this falling star with the trails. Burst on the side, that format would be more around the regional mall site and would be a visual indicator to the public that people on those signs would be on the mall site. So it's just to help with wayfinding and branding.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about the...
Steve did a very good job. I mean, I think he hit everything that we were talking about, but I can elaborate on any of your questions.
Are there any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, as it relates to the deal that was made with council before on the 5 top-tier businesses, is the plan to actually construct this before anything's actually constructed mall-wise?
No, it's not. So basically, the reason for the ask, it's not that we don't want to bring top-tier retailers, and we fully intend to do that. It's more with just timing and assurances that we have the signs available to be able to put them in the early documents, that we start negotiating with these anchor tenants, and they're the ones that command the presence on these signs. To be able to negotiate with them with confidence that we are able to deliver these signs and this type of signage, and this is what they're going to look like. And whether there's a reader board or not has a lot to do with what we can promise them in terms of presence and visibility from the freeway. So a lot of times we're dealing with those anchor tenants well before we get into that list of retailers.
Any other questions? No? Thank you. Okay. Anyone from the public like to speak? Nope. Okay. With that, I'm going to take a motion on the first case.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve case number 16-300-00001 with staff recommendations.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
6-1. Approve 6-1. Motion on the comprehensive sign package.
Mr. Chairman,
Sorry, point of order. Can you open the public hearing and then
okay.
call for any additional comments or questions?
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing on the comprehensive sign package. Are there any additional comments? Additional question? Okay. With that, I will take a motion in a second.
Mr. Chairman, I move case number 15-630-00002 with staff recommendations.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
Motion carries 6-1. And item 9, staff communications.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commission. Just to bring you up to speed a little bit on council actions from our previous meetings. The Alex Listinsky presented both applications regarding the rezoning special use permits for the Moose Lodge that was on this past Monday's council agenda. Both of those items were passed, approved by the council. Also, the Cantamia well, the well use permits and the well agreement, which you did not see, but both of those things did get approved by the commission, by the city council. The previous application that you considered for Arroyo Ranch is that Mr. Kretschmer presented to you is going to the City Council on March 28th for consideration and approval. And the Australia Commons subdivision, the residential subdivision application just south of I-10 east of Australia Parkway was approved by the council as well. So we've had a fruitful couple of weeks.
Sounds good.
What happened to the, was it the Compass Church?
That's what my question was going to be.
Sure, I can give you an update on that. So that application went to the city council. There was a sizable turnout from the residents of Wade Acres at that meeting. The council heard both sides, staff report as well, some information presented by our traffic engineer and our engineering department as well. At the end of that night, the council voted to table that request and to see if additional common ground could be found between the neighborhood and the church. As a result of that, we at staff have engaged the assistance of a professional mediator and are in the process of selecting a final date in which that mediation is going to take place. After that mediation takes place, if it will have to go back to the city council for a final vote and disposition. So that's what's going on with that particular application at this time.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, to that point, I would just like to commend staff for all of their work on that particular issue. I know that it's been really heated, and I know we have to bring in a mediator, which is a little bit sad, but I think staff did an outstanding job to handle that whole issue.
I agree. Steve's case, and he did an excellent job, not only here in front of you all, but he did an outstanding job and an excellent job with the city council as well.
There was a comment made by one of the neighborhood members that the commission tends to approve everything that comes before us, and I honestly didn't think of it till later, but really the reason that is because staff does their job of vetting everything before it ever gets to us, so that it's rare that something comes that hasn't been worked out already, and that's why we approve so much.
Great job, Steve. Anything else? All right, with that, this meeting is adjourned.